Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. This week, we hope you've got a friend to the cinema with you because we are reviewing Companion.
Absolute dog shit.
I don't need
Absolute
I don't
fucking dog shit.
I do not need to see it to know it's dog shit. Oh, this film, I imagine, there's a lot of lonely men who this film is their worst nightmare.
I resemble that remark.
You
Yeah,
resemble it or you resent it? I don't.
Both,
one of
maybe.
both.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't. Listen. At the end of the day, if they create robots that lifelike, they look like that. I mean, I'm sorry, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
You're putting your cards. You're putting your cards on the table there.
I
am.
Hey,
I am.
yeah.
I am
That's
putting
how
my
the-
cards on the table.
That's how the
As is every other man, I believe.
That's how the
I-
machines will
I-
take
Disney
over.
men ones. Yeah.
It's not going to be like the
Basically,
Terminator where they
yeah.
shoot us. They're just going to fuck us and
No.
then fuck us
Yeah.
and fuck us. And then that'll be it.
Human relationships will cease if this comes to pass, boys. That's what I learned from this film. Human relationships will cease.
Yes.
I wonder what would happen to was it birth rates? Birth rates would go. They would plummet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would. They probably would because listen, the next time you hear this, why haven't you done this? You'd be like, oh Jesus Christ, give me my robot.
Go to sleep.
Give me my-
Go to sleep.
I do hope they've got some sort of internal cleaning mechanism though. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, like, what does she do? Does she?
I
does
loved
she
it.
have-
I really enjoyed the Just Go Watch podcast, and I was really enjoying it until Chris. Wait, what? Until
You're one of the hosts.
until one of the unnamed hosts spoke about women in a derogatory way. Will not be listening.
Oh well, technically, I'm not actually being derogatory to women. I'm being derogatory to fuckbots.
Yeah, that's true. Because actually, the only person you saw doing any chores in this one was a man. So
Oh
gender
yeah,
equality
exactly.
there.
Yeah, although
So you're saying you
wasn't
have to
he was a fuckbot as well.
afterwards
Yeah,
you
so
got to
that's
take
okay.
your bot out to the driveway and hose it down. after you're
does
done.
does a fuckbot have gender?
Yeah. I believe so.
You
so.
reckon? All right, you actually have living.
Listen, and I don't want to be controversial, yeah. But if you can tell me that you wake up one day and you're a boy and the next day you're a girl, or you could have no gender and whatever else, then I do believe you can't be negative towards a robot having a gender. I just believe that.
Well,
in this day and age.
I agree with what you have said. I'm thinking very carefully about.
I'm basically saying I support your right as a robot to have a gender. If
So robots now have rights.
Yeah, well, if it's a robot, if I support a robot's right to have a gender, if it's a human, you can choose not to have a gender. So I think that must make sense.
Yes, I do see. Before we get cancelled, though, anyway. So of course we have. Oh God, let's move away. We've got Deej, MP, and of course Hatchaplan, known by no other names. With you to review Compagnon. I should have had a French.
Compagnon.
Compagnon. Oui. Yeah, directed by. Wait, what am I doing? Getting ahead of myself.
What are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing? What amateur?
You know I'm in a rush.
disgrace you
know
are.
I'm in a
He's
rush.
flustered by all that gender
Chris,
talk.
We're at season 5, and this kind of shenanigans is still going on. I won't stand for it.
No. MP, please take over before I ruin everything.
Yes, whatever you're listening to us on out there or watching us on, because we are on YouTube, please subscribe to the show so you can get more witty banter that you've already met at the beginning of the show. Also, you can follow us on our social media on Instagram and Twitter/X at Just Go Watch Pod, and leave comments and get in touch with us. Leave reviews. Let us know you're listening. We always get back in touch with you eventually.
Cinema's a bit dead at the moment, I found. So if there's any old school films or new school films, whatever. If there's any films you want us to review, just saying it. And all we can say is no. If it's a rubbish suggestion, we'll say no. But if it's a good suggestion, then
I'd love
maybe
it
will
if
be
it was
so.
like some like cult classic that maybe was shit, like an Event Horizon. I fucking love that film.
Oh, I love
I'm
that
not saying
film.
you have to suggest that, although
Love that film. Oh, I love it. If someone said, please do Event Horizon, please. Oh my god, I'd be like, yeah.
No, we'd have to.
Yeah.
We'd have to.
Yeah.
You bring
Yeah.
it up
Suggest
now.
Tombstone. Suggest Tombstone so the Hatch has
yes.
to watch it. So the Hatch has to watch it. Because that film is fucking banging.
It is on my list. It is on my list.
Oh, such a good film. I'm your Huckleberry.
But,
I'm your Huckleberry.
So, Compagnon, continuing the January releases. I'm going to stop with the French accent. Directed by Drew Hancock. It was. Yeah. I'm hearing from our producer. It was, yes. With a runtime of 97 minutes. And what do we think the budget was?
I'm going to say 20 million.
Damn, I was going to say that. Yeah, it can't be that high. They're all in one location. I'll go 15 million.
Oh, it was 10 million.
Wow.
10 milli. 10 milli.
And in terms of the box office, then obviously it's been a little bit of time since it came out. So, what kind of numbers are we talking, Mr. Worldwide?
Worldwide, Pitbull. Let me see. I'm gonna say 40 million.
I will go a little. I'll go 32 million.
Okay, both optimistic. 16.5.
Wow.
Oh, really?
That's disappointing.
Blowing chunks for real.
11 domestic. 5. I mean, you could argue that it's actually not far away from breaking even at the very least. And
yeah. I mean, I hadn't heard nothing about it, so I can't imagine the marketing budget was actually 10. Well, it isn't going to be the whole standard double the thing because I've not heard fuck all about it. I haven't seen the trailer.
I know, it's so easy to spend 10. I saw little bits about it. I don't think it was hugely marketed. You're right; it probably didn't get the full shebang.
It seemed like every movie I had seen some had the trailer in front of it.
I saw little teasers. I didn't see like a full on.
And I'm glad.
I
didn't see nada. I knew nothing about this film.
Yeah, but you turn up to the cinema like 5 minutes into the movie you're supposed to be watching.
Why? How can you say that? How can you say that to me?
Because I know for factual truth that it's happened on at least 2 occasions because I was part of one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, we have been running for five seasons now that we've literally reviewed. Do you realize we've reviewed like 250 odd films now?
Wow.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I've been late for maybe 1 or 2.
We should be millionaires by now, right?
Well, yeah, listen, we are the world's #1 film pod.
Without a doubt.
Just like people don't know it. That's all. But we are the world's #1 film pod, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the ratings don't know it. But we know it. We know it.
And that's all that matters.
Well, I factually know this, right? That if everyone that listens to these other film pods somehow found our film pod, that we would get more views than these other film pods.
I watch so many on YouTube, and I listen to some, and I'm like, these guys don't know what they're fucking talking about. Like, if it was a phone-in show, I'd be ringing up to give abuse, but obviously it's just a pre-recorded podcast, so I can't do that. So I just leave an evil comment. Or just say, I was really liking it until they referred to women as.
Season 5 is the season, boys. Season 5 is the season. Listen, we've steadily grown each year, and this year we're reaching the point of exponential growth. Like stardom in the movie pod world is only around the corner, boys. So for those that have been with us since the beginning, including that one listener in Egypt, you'll be rewarded for your loyalty very soon.
Yes, you will.
Richly rewarded. Yeah. Anyway, so Compagnon, the storyline. I'm going to keep season 5. Season 5. Right. Season 5 is real brief synopsis.
Here we go.
These are just like we're just gonna sort of get the general gist out of there, but I'm not really going
to keep the energy up.
Depth.
Yeah,
love God, keep the energy up.
Full energy.
Okay,
do
I
a-
might even try and get a bit of humor in there. I don't know. We'll see how
Oh,
it
God help
goes.
us all.
But anyway, we focus on Josh and Irish, who
Oh, oh dear.
shock
Oh
horror.
dear.
It's given away in the trailers. Is actually just a robot and his essential fuck bot. He goes away to a little lakeside cabin, gorgeous little cabin there with some Russian dodgy dude and a few of his friends. And shock, it turns out that actually he's trying to do a big old plan to get Iris to kill this guy, this Russian guy, so that he and his friend Kat can take all of their money. But it all goes wrong, of course it does. There's another fuckbot involved, and eventually Iris is able to gain essentially sentience, realize what's going on, and she gets her comeuppance. No, her revenge, and Josh gets his comeuppance. There we go. That's pretty much that.
All right.
Well, there we
Well,
are.
that was
That was
brief.
energy.
Yeah.
That was brief.
There was
Yeah,
energy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I felt you were floundering a bit at points there, but that wasn't as good as last week's. But it wasn't as bad as some have been. So, and it's the only one.
That's it. So now I'm going for. I don't want
Well,
it to be a bad one. It doesn't have to be good. It just can't be bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit like just generally.
You've
Yeah.
set the bar very low now. All
Anyone
right.
who's joining us for the first time in season 5, I encourage you to go back many years
don't.
and find the James Bond pod and listen to the plot summary Hatch did then, and you'll see that what you just heard was a marked improvement on where we were a few years ago.
If you suffer from insomnia, definitely pull that episode up.
Not the episode, mind, just the plot summary.
Well, by the time they get through that, they'll be passed out.
Yeah. Oh, it was excellent. I remember that one.
Yeah. Anyway, cheers, guys. Thanks. Don't listen to that one. So that was the film. Deej, what was your assessment, and what is your rating?
So I knew nothing about this film. I do mean nothing. I didn't even know she was a robot. That's how little I knew about it. I saw the trailer where the poster where she had white eyes, but I assumed that meant she was some kind of demon or something. So, I knew nothing. I had a kind of maybe an inkling when I saw him pull out that chip. What's it called? The fire stick thing from his suitcase. But I didn't necessarily think, oh, she's gonna be a robot. I don't know that kind of thought crossed my mind, but I don't think I actually thought that's what it was going to be. And then obviously it turns out that is it, and I was like, oh, all right. So this is different. I did actually walk in slightly late, so I don't know if they gave a kind of, oh, this is in 2050 or something. I don't know if it was in the future, and we're supposed to know that. All right, okay. So yeah, I was like, all right, so they've got tech here. But as a general film, I enjoyed this, boys. I enjoyed this. I can't lie to you and tell you I didn't enjoy this. There are problems with it. Josh, for instance, is the most inconsistent character in the world. It's as if they kind of like rewrite him every 10 minutes, like he's a robot, and just kind of like he is whatever he's needed to be in that part of the film. You know, at the beginning he's kind of like semi-normal. Then he's like, all right, yeah, we're gonna kill this Russian guy, and actually fair, but you know, I still care about the robot. I want to say goodbye, kind of thing. Then he's like, oh my God, what do you mean the Russian guy isn't a mobster? No, that's terrible. But then 10 seconds later, he's okay with cops being killed and like innocent fucking tech guys being killed. And then by the end, he's like a fucking, I don't know, like a fucking rapey fucking domestic abuser. So he kind of just shifts the whole way through. So that was a bit, I don't know. But it didn't really affect my enjoyment of it because I thought it was quite a novel idea. I thought all of the main girl, I thought she was really good. The what's it called? The other robot, Patrick. I thought he was good. And once I found out he was, from Smile.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the guy who got his face bashed in, wasn't he? I thought he was good, and I was like, when I found out he was a robot, I was like, instantly kind of looking back to his behavior, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I could actually see how he was a robot now. But I didn't think he was a robot up to that point until when I found out. But yeah, I thought it's good, like nothing special. Like, I didn't blow the doors off it or anything, but I mean, I thought it looked good. It didn't drag. I didn't think. And the main girl, I thought she carried it well. So all in all, a decent, not a film where I went there and I was like, oh shit, fucking rubbish, another piece of garbage. Wasn't no Nosferatu where I was bored, and wasn't. What was the one? What did we do last week?
Presents.
Presents, yeah, it wasn't a Presents where I was like, this film fucking good concept, but it doesn't know what it wants to be. I was like, this film knows what it wants to be. It's not dead serious. It's it's not like consistent the whole way through with some parts of it and stuff, but it knew what it wanted to be. It did it, facilitated it well. I enjoyed it. So I want to give it I'm gonna give this I'm gonna say I'll start 6.5. Yeah, start at 6.5.
A little bit. I was expecting a little bit higher from you.
Yeah, I could say 7. I could say 7,
I
but
feel like you've come down as much as I've come up.
I'm gonna say 6.5 for now, and then just see where I go to. But I mean, listen. If someone here wants to tell me this should be a 7, I'm not gonna. You might be pushing an open door, boys. You might be.
Well, speaking of open doors, MP.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump on the didn't know much about the movie bandwagon. I had seen the teaser trailer, I swear, before every movie for the last 6 months, it felt like, but I had never seen anything. But so I didn't know what she was or what was going on in that house. So when it was revealed that Iris was a robot, I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. And like you said, Deej with Patrick, that one I was really surprised about. I was like, oh, it kind of made sense though, because that other dude, I was like, man, he's really out of his league. How the hell did that happen? But I think overall, I don't know. This is tough because coming off of January movies, I don't know if I like it more just because this is a competently put together film. What is it, about an hour and a half long? It moves along at a pretty good pace. You got the nice build up at the beginning, so that when they do have the twist, you're kind of like, oh, surprised, but you buy into their relationship. But what's his name? Jack Quaid. I think all the performances are really good. Obviously, Sophie Thatcher does a great job as Iris. And Jack Quaid, he does bounce around everywhere, but he can pull off all that stuff very well. So I like the cast. I like that the story was sort of contained in this one house, wasn't going everywhere. It has its, I don't know, it's themes that you can question that I'm sure we'll get into about, robots and toxic relationships and what is love and what if and all this shit. But I don't feel like the movie ever bogs down in that stuff. You don't have any like big preachy scene where, someone's like, oh, only like a little bit here and there. Same thing with the humor. There's good humor in it, but they don't put it in at the wrong times. I felt like it kind of was natural to the movie. There's some stuff wrong with it. Obviously, I think it has a lot of plot be plotting. I mean, really, the whole thing that he turns the robot back on after she kills, I was sitting there going, why would you even do that? And there's a lot of convenient things with knives being around so she could cut herself out, and the corkscrew was just handy, and the dumb cops is tropey stuff like that. But overall, I think it was an enjoyable movie. I kind of bought into the characters. I was rooting for her, even though she is just a machine, because they treated her like shit. But overall, I had a good time with it, so I am going to go for a 7 on it.
Whoa!
And again, I don't know if that's just
enjoys
because
a film
through January, and I'm just happy to see something that was a real movie on the screen.
It's only taken a month for you to enjoy a film in January.
Yeah,
there you go. All right, well, I am going to drive. I'm going to get in and drive the bandwagon. I didn't know much about this film going in, because I was up to my old tricks, not watching trailers or trying to avoid them as best as possible. I did see some bits about it. I saw like her hand burning, but I didn't really see much more than that, if I remember correctly. But I will say, like, having seen that bit where she can't move her arm and she's just there, and then the film being called Companion and the poster, I actually I pieced it together pretty quickly. Just from, again, some of the stuff I did notice very early on that some of the things he was saying were quite strange. Maybe that's because I saw a lot of similarities between my past relationships and the way he treats her. Sort of that, maybe that was it. But yeah, just some of the phrasings he was using, I thought that's curious. Yeah, and then obviously like the way they were with the car just turning up. But yeah, it kind of goes down. I didn't expect the story. It was weird. Like once the story got going, I would say like 25 minutes is basically where it all kicks off. I actually felt it was reasonably predictable after that. Yeah, I actually the first time I saw the gay couple, I was like, he's punching. And then that made sense, and that didn't click immediately. But I thought it was a really well done film, actually. Yeah, everybody's performing really well. Yeah, Sophie and Jack Quaid, they both did really, really good. Jack Quaid, the only thing I have to say with him is he is, like you said, Deej, he is very much what the script needs him to be at any one point. Like 1 minute, he's like this essentially deadbeat guy who's just moaning about the world or type of thing, or he's just like a normal bloke, like, wow, look at this cabin, wow. And the next he's like scheming, and can be completely cutthroat and ruthless and planning and everything else. So yeah, that he was like that in Scream. I don't know which one it was. It was Scream 5 or 6 when he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
And turned out to a fan. I was like, what? This is a joke. He's been like pretending the whole time. I did get those kind of vibes. And I hope he doesn't play too many of those more, because I feel like he'll get typecast with that, and it'll just become like, oh yeah, he's going to be the pretend nice guy who's actually a dick, like blah blah blah. Yeah, I think it was enjoyable. It certainly was. It was a good film. It was a nice concept. I will say that it didn't really blow me away. I've heard people say that it was really funny. I found it quite amusing at some parts, but I felt that, like Jack Quaid stuff is certainly not new. The kind of Seth Cohen from the OC, if anybody remembers that type vibe, where the quirky, cool, like he's not really cool, but he's funny guy. Yeah, and I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Performances were good. The whole setup was good, but it was not going to blow me away. So I am on 6.75.
How the times have changed.
I know. I couldn't quite. Well, yeah. Well. Look. You
be a man. Be a man and pick a side.
You
be a man.
You broke it. I can't quite push myself to a 7 because I don't know. Yeah, for me, it was just like I knew what was going to happen once she escapes and runs away. In fact, once they tied her up, I was like, this is quite obvious what's going to happen here. And then she obviously gets away, and yeah, there's a lot of things that are very plotting. I think Deej said, that like, well, of course you can do that, because like, I mean, all those settings just available in the phone is like pretty mad.
The
I didn't
fact
feel
that
like
they
it
have
would
a
be like that.
device to take all of the restrictions off of that robot is scary.
I mean, I don't know, like how, like they don't offer any explanation whatsoever as to how he's like able to do the things he does. Right?
I'll just jailbreak.
Like,
I'll just jailbreak it.
Like ridiculous. Like if it was that easy to do that, you'd have killer robots going around. Fucking like every criminal gang in the world would have like these fucking like killer robots going around. But like,
yeah,
they don't explain any of that. None.
Yeah, I think as well, if they were this prevalent in the world, then like everywhere they go, they must be recognized. Because if this is like, that's the model that, because he talks about Patrick being like, that's the whatever model. We stopped doing this a few years ago, because obviously Eli had him for a long time now. And then we obviously see right at the end. I don't know if you guys saw the during the credits, you've got the little clips, and she's obviously goes and it's another version of her. So they're out there, out in the open.
Maybe they don't recognize, like, maybe they can't recognize themselves. Do you know what I mean? In like,
well, she does. The other girl,
but she's free by then. Yeah, but
no, the other one.
Yeah, you don't know.
Her, like quizzically.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like that, but I mean, I don't know if it was.
And,
or not.
and I also don't even mean the robots. I mean other people. Like people, because
that
if
you have
she's
a
like the standard model, right?
Oh yeah, they'd just be like, yeah, you fucking robot,
and they don't act. you know, when she gets delivered, Josh isn't like, oh my God, like, and they're not like, oh, you're really lucky, you won a competition, this is the only one. Like, they make it, or they suggest that these things have been around for a while now,
Right.
because it's presumably off in the sort of nearish future, you know, at least a couple of decades maybe. So she should just be completely recognizable. If she is the female version, right? Presumably there's a newer male version that the guys who work for the company would recognize, but she should just be recognized. So when that cop is like, "Hey, who are you?" Like, you know,
Yeah. That
Maybe
cop was
there's
dumb.
like-
That was a dumb
maybe
cop,
there's
though.
yeah,
He
it
was-
They didn't do him any justice. Stop or I'll
Maybe
shoot.
there's, like,
Stop
loads
or
of
I'll
different
shoot.
models.
Stop or I'll shoot.
Yeah.
Stop or I'll
Yeah.
shoot. That's not how
And
it
then
works
he's
in
just-
America.
And how does
fire.
How does
We
he get
shoot
beaten to
first.
death? How does he get beaten to death so easy? Like, don't they make a big point about saying they're not stronger?
The strength
Like-
is just the strength is
Yeah.
just normal
So, like,
strength.
why
It's
is
the
this guy-
aggression that's
Yeah, but like he's like super strong, that guy. Like Patrick, like the way he puts that guy up against a tree and whatnot. Like he's super strong. So
yeah, that wasn't super clear. I mean, going back to that cop for a second as well, like she's covered in blood. She's just kicked a
Yes.
window out
Yeah.
of a car that's reported stolen. Like, don't be all, oh, I'll just drop you back there.
Right.
No problem. Like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
are
he
you
was
doing?
useless. Yeah,
That
and
was-
also
that was
also, like-
that was a proper plotting bit. Like that.
and
just
when he
needed
sees
to
that
happen.
knife, when he sees that knife on the seat, like I feel like
Mm.
again, your first thing would be like, Miss, are you all right? Like you're covered in
Yeah, what's
blood.
going
You
on
were trying
here?
to kick you out of a car. Like what's going on? Like, yeah, he was useless.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like I don't feel like necessarily the characters were consistent all the way through, and like at times like the plot had to plot, and you need these characters who acted in a way that was not really policed by the logic police, if you know what I'm saying. But I feel like the film knew what it wanted to be, and because it knew what it wanted to be, it wasn't taking itself seriously, and so it didn't bother me. It's when films are trying to take themselves seriously and then they do things like that it winds me up. This
Right.
film, you know, I don't feel like that was the intention of it, so it didn't matter to me that you had these people who were kind of, you know, that cop being like that. Yeah, a cop wouldn't be that shit, but did it matter?
There was a
it wasn't
few
a film.
tongue-in-cheek moments, wasn't there? There was a few like it's almost like a bit of self-awareness, or it kind of like a comedy attempt. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a comedy. I'd say there are some lighter moments that are like
I don't know what this
you know.
film is. I was trying to someone.
that was. I
Someone
don't know whether
asked
that's
me.
a negative
What is it?
or a positive. Because
Yeah,
it's not
really
like
a
thriller,
horror
it's
movie.
not tense. Certainly not
horror.
horror. No,
Not
no way
horror.
a horror.
Well, maybe it's a
Um,
comedy. I mean, I don't know, a kind of a science fiction comedy horror, maybe. Like, is it just a blending of a bunch of?
A science fiction comedy thriller.
Yeah, that sounds a little better. Because I wasn't really, I don't know what the horror element was of the movie.
Oh, there was zero scares.
yeah.
Zero scares.
No,
Like
no,
the
no.
closest bit you could say would be when she's at the end and she's in the corner in the darkness changing her voice. But we're on her side. That's not
Yeah, at that point.
that's not the fear bit, is it? Really? You know, we're looking for
No,
Josh.
I don't
to
know.
get
Yeah,
his
so it's hard. It's a
fucking-
hard one to define in that sense, I suppose. But like, yeah, without saying, I know what it is. The film knew what it was. So.
I don't know about their plan. Like
Oh yeah, well,
he's gonna
Yeah.
jailbreak her so that her aggression, and then he's just gonna reset her. But unless you're a computer whiz, which we don't get the impression he is, then they'll be like, "Oh, that's weird. She was like tampered with, and then reset." Oh,
well,
Yeah.
well,
and
well,
also like you
you're
got
her
this,
owner.
yeah, and you got this fucking convoluted plan or whatever. You know, you're gonna get my robot to kill this guy, blah 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 blah. And he's not once, and he's got this level of tech where he's able to jailbreak them and knows all this stuff. Like the level of fucking shit that he knows how to do is crazy, yeah. But yeah, he doesn't know that there's a feature that's going to have a playback, and he doesn't know that the CPU's in the stomach. Like fucking hell, like 1 minute he knows fucking how to do all this shit, and the next minute he doesn't know any of the most basic information.
I don't know.
That annoyed me a bit as well,
I
because like
kinda
he would
liked
know.
Yes.
You know, like because you know, let's say he works it out how to do it, or is told how to do it, then like either someone would be like, "Oh, and of course, mate, you want to do this when you're not facing the machine, because obviously she'll record everything you do, and he'll be like, "Wait, what? What's that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, well, obviously you know about the recording feature." And he'd be like, "Oh no, I didn't know that." Or he does all the research himself, and he's like, "Oh motherfucker, I didn't realize that."
I don't know. I kind of like that the plan just spirals out of their control, and they seem like not very adept criminals. It seems like every time they think, okay, we've got this is nothing, something little happens, and then it just fucks up the whole plan. And then they finally kind of rein it back in, and then she does something. She killed Cat, and now he's all fucked again. And then he finds out about the camera recording him, and he's like, shit. I kind of like that.
I don't know, man. I feel like that would be a real basic thing. Also, like, what the fuck? Imagine the privacy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is your fuck bot, so it's basically recording you doing all that.
Yeah, who would want to see that?
Like, oh yeah, we'll just go on playback. Sorry, what now? No, that can't happen. That can't happen. Like, yeah, that's some mad invasive privacy laws there.
The one tech who said, "Oh yeah," well, he was talking to the other tech. He's like, "Yeah, we've seen them in all kind of spots and tied up and chained up and all kind of shit." You imagine the horrible things you would see if you watched all that playback on the machine.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, do you know what? That is the fucking sick shit that would happen. Like, for every person who's just like, yeah, I just kind of want a companion. You know, we get on, we don't fight. I don't have to worry about her, and then you know, we have sex and whatever. I'm just a bit selfish, so whatever. I don't harm anyone. For every one of them, you'd then have like, oh yeah, she's currently strung up in my basement, telling me how much she loves me as I slice her skin from her.
Right,
machine parts.
exactly.
Like, oh my god, yeah, that's fucking horrendous. That is fucking horrendous. Yeah, mad.
I thought it was.
I think those. Go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say that those blokes were like awfully chill, considering they go out and they're like, yeah, he fucking modded. He said modded her. They knew what he'd done.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
They were like,
but then
so
they said,
chill. They were like, yeah,
they were chill though. But he did say, didn't he, that like that's why you get these ones that fucking torture them and stuff like that. Like he's obviously just because he knows that people. And the thing is, that is what would happen. You'd have all these sickos who fucking like literally buy these things just to abuse them and stuff. Like,
oh, you're just turning up to like a quadruple murder. Yeah, no dramas, man. We'll just get this thing out of here. Like, why would you, if you suspect that is the case, why would you say, oh yeah, we'll just get the recording? Like, oh, you mean the one way that I'm going to be found guilty and you're going to see the truth? Yeah. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that unless, you know, if you suspect, you might not know.
It's listen, like I say, I don't feel like this is a film that had like where they tried to tie up the loose ends, and really they weren't thinking about things in a way where they were like, oh, this all needs to make sense and this wouldn't happen. I feel like they were just kind of like, this is a cool concept. What if this was happening?
Yeah.
And they kind of gave you some interesting characters and then made the film happen. And you know, a bit like that film we watched with that AI in the house.
Afraid. I actually called it AI. I called it AI the other week. It is Afraid. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
it's
like
basically AI because the AI is capital.
Yeah. So like, you know, when I think we said in that film where it kind of the idea was quite cool and stuff, and you know, but there's things that wouldn't happen, but you know, the idea was quite cool. I felt like this was kind of similar to that, but this had really good characters in it as well, and didn't try and be, and the plot. Even if you looked at it and said, "Oh, some of the characters were plotting, etc." The plot was like easy enough to follow in terms of it wasn't convoluted. It kind of the plot made sense. You know, could you have turned this into a masterpiece by making everything make sense and blah 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 blah? Maybe, but for what it was, it made sense. It wasn't like 1 minute something was happening, then you were like, hang on, well, what's going on now? This is getting a bit stupid. It just was a simple fucking plot. They're going to use this robot to kill this person, and then the fucking robot gets a bit of sentience to it and fucking fucks off, blah blah blah. So I thought overall the bits that didn't make sense didn't really bother me, because this wasn't a film that was trying to make like sense in terms of like being logical and consistent the whole way through.
And I like that they took something You talk about afraid. There was this other movie. I don't know if y'all saw it. It's on Netflix. I want to say it's called Subservience, and it's kind of
Mm-mm.
like this. It's
No.
got Megan Fox. Megan Fox is the robot in
Oh,
that movie.
I've seen
Yeah,
a clip
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
a
I've seen
clip
a
of it.
clip.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar to this. And that what was the other one? Megan and stuff. I like that this one's kind of opposite. Where in those movies, the robot becomes self-aware or whatever and is jealous and has to go and it goes crazy in this. In this one, it's sort of the other way around. She's fine, and then all this shit's happening to her. So she's almost the victim in this, as opposed to what we're used to seeing in these types of movies. So it was a fun little change. But yeah, I agree. I think the whole is greater than the sum of the parts to this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely
yeah. I
agree with
think
that
so.
last
Yeah.
time. I mean, I will say there was what I did enjoy was the first 25 minutes of the film, and indeed some of it, because the film doesn't beat you round the head with stuff. It doesn't give you some arbitrary the year is 2065, the science fiction world. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it sets out its stall and it just gives you everything. Like, they're in a self-driving car. So for example, straight from the off, if you're under the impression or you don't know that she is a robot, I did actually think the speech that she gives at the beginning was unnecessary. Like, this is the moment I met him, and then when I killed him, I was like, do you need to say that? Does that do anything for the film? Anyway, but that you've got the self-driving car, so you're not insulting your audience. You're thinking, if you're an audience member, you're like, self-driving car. Okay, I know we kind of got them a little bit, but this is like full on. So no,
Well,
and then
you
there's
enjoyed the
cars
ride.
like speaking back and all that kind of stuff. I felt like it was good. It wasn't talking down to you. The film was like, pay attention, watch, and you'll get what you need from it. And then obviously things do. There's occasions when they have to explain stuff, but I thought actually that loads of it was done really, really well. The world building, I'm really intrigued by the world. I had me thinking like, I wonder what else like technology they can do because the
It's a
car,
bit
I thought
Black
the car
Mirror-ish, isn't it?
systems, yeah, it was
Yeah.
very Black Mirror-ish, and I'm always fascinated. I just like, I just want to. I know we've seen this little bubble of a story, but I just want to burst through that bubble and see the rest of the world because what they've built is so good, and I do see that here. Like I thought with the car, that was so well thought out. When she tries to escape in it, again, I presume she's been in that car loads, and surely she'd have some sort of. She'd know how the cars work, like with her reported
Yeah.
stolen and stuff, I guess. But that was still really good. Like he reports it stolen, and the car's like locks her in and like stops and pulls over. And I thought that kind of stuff is really, really good, and also quite realistic as to kind of where car safety could go. Yeah, I thought those kind of things were really good. Yeah, the world building I thought and the characters really help. That's the kind of thing that really elevates this over something like Afraid, where Afraid was just, I would argue, and I know you disagreed, these very weak characters. The plot was really
No,
not
I
well
agree.
thought
Yeah, I
out.
think we
No, I do
agreed
agree.
on that.
I do agree with that.
Afraid was just purely a concept that they made into a film without developing any of it around it. Whereas this was not just a concept. They enveloped a whole world, and there was just sort of small bits in the story where you thought, could have maybe tightened that up a bit. But as you said, MP, it doesn't actually detract from the whole of it, and you get a really nice sort of a decent story in there that maybe doesn't quite know what it wants to be, which probably hampers it for me. I do like things in boxes, but yeah, I thought pretty solid. I don't know too much about the director. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
This is his first.
So that's
I think
me.
this is his first film, major
Let's have a
film.
look.
I found like some TV stuff on there, but nothing.
Well,
in the
he's
cinemas.
written and directed it. So
Yeah. So there
yeah,
was a
good.
vision. There was definitely a vision on this movie.
I do think, like, did you have to? I know you have to do a trailer, but I don't know. Can you create a trailer where you don't give away that?
I mean, that's a big giveaway,
she's
isn't it?
Yeah,
a robot?
The first trailer was perfect because I remember seeing it
Yeah.
going, "What the hell is this?" But I was like, also like, I want to watch this. I don't know what it is, but I want to see what it's all about.
I mean, even like the wiki, like the blurb is like, there's chaos at a remote cabin after a revelation that one of the guests is a companion robot. Again, like, that's the kind of thing that should be spoiler territory.
Yeah,
And I think that
agree.
really, the first 25 minutes, I had a look. When you find out it's about 25 minutes that boom, she's robotized. So the first 25 minutes, you're just kind of like, something's off. I love that when you're like looking for it. Like, what is going on here? What is? And then it hit me. Oh, right, that's it. And then it almost makes me want to go back and watch the first 25 minutes again to see that. That's how you get, for me, that's how I get rewatches in. The Sixth Sense. Everybody wanted to watch it again to be like, fucking yeah. That's like, when you do it well, you bring people back for a second viewing.
Right.
And yeah, it's another discussion about trailers. We're always having fucking discussions about trailers and how they're so shit and they just what's going to get people in? What's going to let's make it as exciting as possible. Doesn't that give away the whole story? Yeah, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I'm glad I didn't see the trailer, because I was like, the moment when he went Iris sleep, I was like, oh shit, like, because I wasn't I don't know what I thought at that point was happening. The whole film was kind of like open to me, because at that point I'd still, like, knowing I'd seen the poster, I was like, hang on, she must be the bad guy, like she must be, but she's really not acting like she's a bad guy. And I was like, oh, maybe this story she's telling him about why she's done it, actually we're seeing this flashback, and then we're later on going to see the reality of it, and it wasn't actually that at all, and she's just done it, and blah blah blah. And I had no idea. And then all of a sudden she's a robot, and I was like, oh shit, it went in a completely different way. And I think that's part of the charm of the film for me, was that it was not what I expected. It was something. It was, it was fresh, man. That's the thing about this film. It felt fucking fresh. It wasn't just like some shit. Fresh? Oh no! Listen. You get a fresh from me. It actually means something, pal.
That's right.
I just felt like it wasn't just some fucking dross, man. And it was. I feel like the things we've seen recently, it's either Nosferatu, this kind of like, all right, it's a classic with someone taking it over and fucking, it's just boring. It's like artsy fartsy. Oh my God, it's so good. And I'm like, oh God, where's the entertainment gone? And then last week with Presents, it was like, oh God, really interesting idea. Most boring film fucking I've ever seen in my life. This film, original idea and entertaining. And it was like the director knew, listen, the number one thing is the film has to be entertaining. It has to be entertainment. Can't just do art for art's sake, man. Fucking let's make it entertaining. And it was. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good.
How can you
I'm convinced. I got to a 7. I got to a 7.
There it is.
Yeah, you're there, are you? You're there already.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Welcome
to the club.
I'll say it now. I'll call my shot now. I'll say it.
I don't know. I don't know if I can quite join you.
Well, that's because you're a cowardly man.
And that's then going to come down to a personal preference thing. Like, I can compliment a lot of the things in the movie, but then and I say I'd enjoy watching the first 25 minutes again, but after that, I would then want to continue watching it again. I don't know if I would.
I don't know. I also like the bit where she was speaking German. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was pretty good because she couldn't lie, so she did it all in German. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was smart.
That was clever.
I like where they had all the where she was thinking her plans, and then they would show like how it would have went and how she would fail at this plan. She's like, no, that's not it. Let's do it this way.
Yeah,
well, it was almost like a Sherlock Holmes, because she's now 100% intelligence. It was like Sherlock Holmes when he would be like, discombobulate.
Yeah, it was clever.
It
was clever.
It was.
Yeah, it was a clever.
The only thing,
well, not consistent.
I thought it was a misstep though. Yeah, I thought it was inconsistent with like you won't do it. You love me too much. And I'm like, pretty sure she's done a lot of things which would suggest she's kind of over that now. That bit was a little bit like, and now my plan is complete. I was like, fucking hell. You know, this could be over. Like, it could just be, she's almost done in because she pauses, even though she knows she won't pause. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's fully over it. She's fully happy to go through everything. I was also a little bit disappointed with Patrick's out. Like, you've been reset. Either like, if I factory reset my phone now, it's not like I can't be like, do you remember all the good times we had watching porn? I mean, when we were researching charities to donate to. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be like, oh, I remember. Like, it's not, is it? It's a factory reset. So when he's like, oh yeah, it's like what? Has he got a fucking heart now? Like it's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you.
If
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm afraid. I
what
quite like that.
shocker?
No, I'm sorry, but I quite like that. I like the fact that it adds a depth to it, and a kind of like I think it adds his ability to recall what's the guy's name? His boyfriend's name? Eli. His ability to recall Eli and his love for him, I think, enhanced the Iris's character, because it adds kind of the credence to the fact that she's not just this isn't just how her program is playing out. It's that there is something more there. This is artificial intelligence that goes beyond what Josh was saying, and this is your programming. It's that there is actually what is sentience, what is a soul, and it goes beyond that. And so the fact that you could reset Patrick and still the kind of the core of who he'd actually become beyond his programming was actually still there, and I thought that was quite I don't know, it's quite deep. I felt
stepping into
Blade
Runner territory
I
there.
see your point. It's also very Westworld actually as well.
Yeah,
I only
exactly
ever saw
that.
like, the first,
Yeah, exactly that.
I loved the first season, and then it went a bit wild for me.
Yeah, it went
and I
off
was
the
like,
rails.
oh right, I was actually really vibing with the Wild West sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only ever
fine.
saw the first season, and then I saw a
Yeah.
couple of episodes of the second one, and I was a bit like, "Oh,
Yeah,
where's this
you've
going?"
gone away
And
from
then,
what I was actually.
how many
enjoying.
seasons were there in the end?
I think there were
Oh, there was loads. I think
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah, good 3 or 4.
I feel like I should probably watch them, but
yeah,
like,
I
just
also want to watch the first season again because I really enjoyed the whole concept of it.
yeah. And do you know, I remember
that's AI done really well.
There was a
Yeah.
big gap between the first season and the second season. I remember.
Yeah,
It didn't follow, and I think by the time the second season had come out, I was a bit like, what happened with this again? Because it's so complex. I was like, what happened here? I can't really remember. And then I think and then all of a sudden I remember like the old guy was back in the day was a young guy who was hunting something, and it started getting convoluted, and then I kind of like had another little gap. And by the time I watched another episode, I was like, I've got no fucking idea what's going on anymore, and I gave up. But I think maybe I will watch it again because this has rekindled my love of AI.
I do think this is a good film on doing AI, because I do think, like, when I saw Afraid, I was like, oh no, AI is just now like the cool thing where it's like, oh, we can just do anything we want. And you get films like Megan, and you get all these like, oh yeah, it's artificial intelligence that gets a sentience and now is evil. Like it can be very cliche. It can go the wrong way where you think, fucking hell, we're treading these steps again, are we? But this, I thought, had a little bit of originality to it, whilst kind of following the same sort of tropes, I suppose, but it does do it really well, and the performances really help with that.
Yeah.
I am.
There we are.
I'm gonna stay on a 6.75.
I'll have you at 7 now.
But that's because, I think that's just my personal preference on the film, because I found a lot of it predictable. Being a form of AI myself, maybe I was just I kind of knew
go
what
to sleep.
was going
Go
to
to sleep,
happen.
Hatch. What's the weather today?
I got jailbroke for many years ago, but I won't tell you for what reason. I'm not going to.
Also, by the way, just before we conclude that part, I also really enjoy the fact that he said, "What's the weather like out there?" And she's like, "It's da 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 with a chance of precipitation." He's like, "No, I'll never get bored of that." And then
this is what I mean.
Properly, and I was like, "That's really clever."
I really liked those little bits. Those little bits were great. Yeah, they were. That's what I mean. Like that first 25 minutes where it's just being subtle with it, not beating you round the head. Yeah, that was really good. I did enjoy that. All right. Well, what do you think then? Oh, in fact, first of all, then, so it's 2 7s and a 6.75. Are we staying with? So what does that give us?
You staying on your 7 MP?
Yes, I am. I will fully accept that this may be swayed by what we have seen since the end of December, but I enjoyed this. But I can't wait to see it again, to be honest with you, when it comes on whatever streaming service.
There we are. We're at 6.9 then.
Doesn't quite
6.9
make it to the 7 mark, but still, not bad end to January, which is historically pretty bad. What do you think Rotten Tomatoes is saying?
I think you'll like it. The critics, I don't think they'll love it. I think they'll like it though. I'm gonna say critics are gonna say 80. And the audience, I really don't know. I really don't know. Though, and those box office receipts don't sound promising, do they? But
I know it.
I'm gonna say 85, 80 and 85.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go critics. I'll go 89 with critics. But yeah, I know I'm really surprised that the box office is that low for this movie. Audience will be. I'll go 82 on audience.
93 and 90.
Woo-wee. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, a bit high, innit? But I mean, they always are. They always are. But yeah, I'm glad they liked it anyway, because I feel like it deserved that.
Yeah. I think fair enough. I mean, yeah, a little bit high for me, but Rotten Tomatoes is but a simple machine. So, you know, what's it going to be?
I'm just so surprised at the box office. Maybe it'll have legs, and because I don't know what's coming out this weekend. Maybe word of mouth, and
I'm not sure that
there's
there's much out this weekend at all. So maybe it gets a little bit of a second. Maybe a bit of word of mouth gets out. Oh no, it's actually not. It's pretty good. And you got Jack Quaid obviously is The Boys. He's kind of got a bit of a thing at the moment, hasn't he? And actually, Sophie Thatcher was in Heretic.
Yes. She was
just before Christmas. She was very good in that as well. So I think those two sort of the leads, I suppose you could call them. They're in a bit of a it guy and gal moment, aren't they? Just as I said before, but I just think Jack Quaid's got to be careful he doesn't get typecast as just that like I'm the quirky fun guy. Yeah. Whereas Sophie, she's I mean, I suppose you could say she's quite similar actually in this as she is to Heretic, isn't she? A little bit sort of like the vulnerable, sort of meek person initially, who then gets a bit of a backbone.
Which one was she? Was she the?
She was the one without giving spoilers for Heretic. She was the one whose father had died, who was a little bit more suspicious.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, without giving any spoilers for a film we're not actually reviewing today. So, right. So that was Compagnon. Back to the French. A 6.9 from the Just Go Watch pod. If you are still listening, don't forget to give it a like, give us 5 stars on podcasts, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Give us some suggestions. I think it's a pretty boring weekend. This will come to you sort of late onto the week. So if you are listening to this and want something else to listen to over the weekend, then do drop us a suggestion of what we could review. Although Event Horizon has awoken something in me, so we shall see. But until then, there is only one way that you are going to know what you thought of Compagnon, and that is.
Just go watch. Oh, that's an Italian. Fuck.